All right, this is it. First week of class. Okay, so I'm just going to real quickly go through what you need to do so that you can hit the ground running. So obviously log into Blackboard, click on week 1. You can watch the announcement here if you want, although I'll kind of cover it again right here. Go to week 1. You're going to want to click on the lecture, watch the read the lecture. I'm going to go over it real quick in a video, then submit the assignments and such. So I'll just go ahead and do the lecture real quick. I'm just going to quickly try to go through this whole thing just for you. Anyway, so this is what we're covering today. All right, so I am John Cohn. I am one of the full-time faculty in the VCP, Visual Communications program at Cecil College. I basically teach, I'm more or less responsible for the game design and the web design programs. So when we cover Photoshop and stuff, my bend is going to be a little bit more on that aspect of it. As opposed to maybe like photography or videography or one of the other things. I also do a little bit of graphic design as well. So if you are game or web, I'm going to be your guy. You'll see this mug, unfortunately, in the future. More or less, my main passion really is animation, 2D and 3D animation, probably more 3D at this point. So that's kind of what I do. So obviously, I've been teaching at Cecil for a while. You can ignore these office hours because this is an online class. So you should just email me if you have any questions. And then I will get back to you, and I will either give you a written response if it's very simple, a video response to try and demonstrate if there's a problem, or I'll have set up a meeting that will just meet virtually. When you do email me, please, obviously describe it well. Don't just be able to go. I literally have people go, "This isn't working," and that's the email. Like, what's not working? Don't do that. Give me like a more specific instruction, and then also include the image so that I can use it if I do need to make a video to describe what the problem is, or I can at least look at it and see what the issues might be. Okay, but that's the main thing. So just email me. It's just jcone@cecil.edu. If you go here, all of your classes should have this. You should be able to use the email, but that's a little shifty. So what I would do instead is go to the faculty information section, and then you'll see my email here. I would just copy that and then use, I think you guys have to do Google, right? I'm not sure, but I would copy and just do it that way because I've had sometimes I get things for Blackboard and they don't come through. So just be aware of that. Oops, get out of here. Okay. Yeah, so just use the email because we're virtual. I'm not in the office at all during the summer. So I have this website for when I teach in person and online. I mostly teach in person. I only occasionally teach online, so this is a little bit set up for that. But I'm going to have you guys in the first discussion board. If you want to just answer these prompts, that would be fine as part of the discussion board, just so that I get a little bit of an idea of who you are, and then we all know each other. Yay! Course description, like I said, this is Digital Imaging 1, so basically we're gonna more or less just cover Photoshop. It's an introduction to Photoshop. As well as just general digital imaging terms, like learning what raster files are and different file formats, and creating things that you would need to be published and for different mediums. Making something for web or video or whatever, that sort of thing. But it's more or less an intro to Photoshop course, what we say. So there is assignments, an exam, and discussion boards. Okay. So assignments, you're going to see that there are 6 of them. So basically every week there is one assignment. There'll be an assignment this week, okay? The last week on the last class, there's a final exam. Don't get worried. It's not a test. Quite literally what it's going to be is I will give you a prompt, and then you just have to make an image based off of that prompt. So I'll have specific things you got to do. I mean, you could just click and see what it is. It's on week 7 or whatever. So but it's kind of like just another assignment. It's just it's much more specific, where these I give you a general, like, oh, you need to do these things. This is like, you have to make something, okay? And then there'll be just discussion boards every week, except for the last week. I took that one out because that just doesn't seem like fun. So just every time you do an assignment, you will also complete a discussion board, and I'll show you that in a little bit, okay? We're going to be using Blackboard. Hopefully you're familiar with Blackboard. It's just an LMS, learning management system. If you click on this will actually bring you right to it, but you probably got to hear from there. So my website is just teachmecone.com. So you could also just go directly there. But that should send you to Blackboard. If we look in here, like I said, we got our stuff in here. So all the stuff's connected through Blackboard. So this is obviously a link to my website. If I click on this, it's going to open up the website to this page. This is where you're going to submit the assignments, right? So you got to click on that, then click on this, and then you upload your files here, okay? So you got to click on the upload files. You can see when it's due. You can click on the rubric, see the rubric. All right. Another one. Then you can also get to the assignments here. Like if you want to just forego that, go to assignments. You'll see all the assignments here as well. These are just links to that. Then there's the discussion board here as well. I'll go over that a little bit and then just check this. Okay, so we just use Blackboard. That's what we're doing. Now, we will be using in the lab. If you ever, I don't know if the lab, I think it's open over the summer. In the lab, they use Mac computers. So if you're familiar with Apple and the lot, then that would be fine. If you're more familiar with PC, that's also fine. Our software will work on both. I use both. You may have a preference, one or the other. I generally prefer PC, even though I pretty much do everything on Mac now because of them. You'll notice that this computer is a PC. I just find that Mac's it's overly expensive for what it is. And when we're doing, like I do 3D animation, you have to update your hardware. And Macs are just not that good for 3D in general. So, because think about it, like you can't really play video games on there. And obviously I'm making video games, so this doesn't work well. So, but it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. The only difference you're really going to notice is that if for some reason the instruction I say, oh, you have to paste. If I say Control V, it would be Command V. So whatever the hotkeys are, just replace Control and Command. That's the big difference. Even the UI has become more and more similar over time. I feel like Windows is getting worse because they're hiding more and more stuff, which is frustrating to try and get to some things. So we use Mac, but you could totally use Windows, like my little cone guy. That's fine too. So whatever, and if you get files from me or you send me files, they will work cross-platform. It doesn't make any difference. So don't worry about anything with that. Just be aware that it will work on either or. We will be using the Adobe Creative Cloud. I mentioned this in that intro video. Basically, the Creative Cloud is Adobe used to be able to buy the software, and then you'd be like, oh, I want to buy this software, and then you would buy the thing, they'd give you the license, and you would buy each one individually. Now they have this Creative Cloud, which is more or less a DRM software, digital rights management. If you play video games like on Steam, it's basically like Steam. So you know how you download Steam, this application, and then in there you can purchase and install other games. But in order for those games to run, Steam has to be installed because that's how it checks the licensing. It's the same thing here. So the Creative Cloud is like the overarching software that manages all their different programs, their apps, as you kids say these days. All the different apps are managed through that software. So if you actually click on this isn't a link? Okay, I guess we can click on that. This will bring you right to the Adobe Creative Cloud. And I think I mentioned this before, but you would just want to sign in, which right here. So you click up here. I'm already signed in, but you'll see like sign in or something like that, or just a little icon. Click on that, sign in. You'd want to use your credentials, and then you'd want to install it, okay? If for some reason it says it's a trial, or it doesn't see your name, or it says, oh, this is whatever, they want you to purchase it, that is wrong. Do not install it. If that's a problem, then either there's something getting typed up wrong, or, and I've mentioned this in the other video, we might made a mistake. Like maybe we didn't put your name in because you signed up late, or it just got skipped, or maybe we put in the numbers incorrectly. But if for some reason it's not understanding that you are from Cecil and that you are a student and you're not supposed to be paying for it, it's not a trial, then, or if it thinks it's a trial, then you need to contact me. Do this immediately. This needs to be done before anything else. Even while we're doing this video, just pause it right now, go through this process, start installing it, and then while that's installing, you can click back and hit play, and that way you're doing two things at once, right? Multitasking, that's cool. Okay. So anyway, the Creative Cloud basically is their management software. It's a subscription-based software, which means you pay monthly, just like everything else now, which I'm not a big fan of. So it's a subscription software, but like I said, we will pay for the subscription currently. In the future, if you were wanting to use this, you would have to purchase your own license, what have you. Okay. with your license from Cecil College, it actually comes when you have Creative Cloud. They have different license packages. I think they mostly just have 2. They might actually they have more than 2, but there's one where it's just Photoshop and Lightroom, and then there's one where it's like the full suite, and then there's one that's like a 3D suite. For you, you're just going to have the full suite, so it's not going to have the 3D stuff as much, but it will have, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Animate, Dreamweaver, After Effects, Premiere Pro, all their stuff, right? XD. I don't have all the software. We're really just going to be needing, once you do have this installed, you're just going to need Photoshop and then also InDesign. You won't need InDesign unless for Digital Imaging 2, if you're taking that concurrently. If you're only taking this course, you will only need Photoshop, okay? But if you're taking Digital Imaging 2 as well at the same time as this course concurrently, then you're going to want to probably install both of them, all right? Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. All right, introduction to Photoshop. So once you do have Photoshop open, you can see I kind of labeled what the interface is. I'm going to pause my video and open up Photoshop Mine. That way you're not waiting. I was going to go over the Photoshop, but then it occurred to me, I already made a video because it's right down here. So this will go over the interface. You can just watch these 2 videos real quick. It's basically what we would do in class. In class, I would just basically show you the interface, like what the different things are called, how to interact with the UI here, and just generally play around with the tools. That's the main thing that you really need to do. It's just play around with it, try different things out, all the different things that, could be fun. One of the things I would suggest, actually, I will show you this. So this is something I was just working on. I do like little ad work. What do you call it? Ad monitor work. So it's like ads that go on TV monitors for like local businesses and stuff. And you can see it's too much, right? You want to have it breathe, but they always like put more stuff in there, and you got to do what they want. So anyway, but I just want to show you one thing. So if for some reason your interface looks different, or you're like, oh man, it doesn't, I'm having difficulty. I took this and you're lame, and then you like closed it out, and you went over here, you did close that one out, and then you pulled this off. And you're like, oh my god, that's not in the right spot, and did whatever, right? And you're terrible person. And you did all this to reset the interface. This is useful. Just and most programs will have something similar. All the Adobe programs do have this. Just go to Window, go to Workspace, and just go make sure you're on Essentials, and then just do Reset Essentials, and it'll go and it will snap it back. Except for this, apparently. So you will notice that if you hover over a space, come on, well, I guess it'll do it here. It'll turn blue. If for some reason you do this and you're lame, you can also just go to Arrange and then consolidate all to tabs. And that will work. If you're on a Mac, you might have a thing where you can kind of like this it'll be like this, and you can see your background through it. It's called Application Frame. It's not a Windows thing. They don't have it on Windows. To turn it off, you just go to Window, and then I think it's towards the bottom. It's not going to show up on mine. You'll see something that'll say like Application Frame, and if you just click that off, toggle it off, it'll be normal. Well, what I consider normal. It'll be like your usual. It'll be like what you would usually range. Sorry. It'll be like what you usually see, where everything's just kind of like tabs and stuff. Okay. But what you can do is just watch those videos. I'm just trying to make this video a little bit shorter. And then it'll give you a general idea of the overview. So I would just suggest doing this just to play around with it, get a little bit of a feel for it. We're not doing anything important. We're just doodling, okay? Then once you are done with that, that would be today's lecture, okay? So you can see, not hard, pretty easy. You're just playing. Then you'll do the assignment, okay? So the assignment 1 is this, basic image editing. What you have to do is you have to take a photo of yourself or someone you know, so a person. Some people consider dogs people. I think it's supposed to be skin, but I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Basically, you got to take one photo of a person, yourself or somebody you know, and I want you to submit 3 images, okay? You're going to submit an unedited image, so it's going to be the original image that you have, okay? As far as the images are concerned, you're going to need to have images throughout this entire class. I do not care how you get those images, except for one caveat. They should be your own, okay? So meaning like you can get an image from a friend, like, oh, I have this photo. You can get pictures from before. You can take pictures specifically for an assignment. At the time of the assignment, you can scan in old photos. You can, to some degree, grab photos online sometimes. But I would just be very wary of that, because if you make something you really like, then you might not be, you can't sell it or anything like that, right? Because you don't own the copyright to that image. Now, there are ways to getting images that are copyright free. You can do that as well. The other problem is with getting images off the internet is that usually they're low res. And, this is not a photography class. This is a digital imaging class. But I think it's akin to basically, like, you might be a really good painter, but if your paints are garbage, if your images are not high quality, they're low res, it doesn't matter how good you are at digital imaging, they're going to look bad. So you need to make sure you get high res images, right? Meaning images with lots of pixels, big pictures, okay? All right, so you need a photo of you or yourself or somebody, okay? And then you're going to give me 3. An unedited, so just the original image, whatever it is, okay? A basic adjustment. So what I want you to do is just take the image and just make it look better. Don't do anything nuts. You just brighten the skin up, push the contrast, maybe blur the background or something like that. Get rid of flyaway hairs, things of that sort. All right. So just general edits of the photo overall. And then the last one I want you to do is just a creative image. Go hog wild. I want you to make them look like Hulk and have fish flying through the air and stretch out the arms, and just you can go not far enough, but you can't go too far as the creative is concerned. Okay, I want you to just, because the whole point of this assignment, to be honest, is just for you guys to play around with it and just to get comfortable. This is not going to be like your best assignment. This will probably, hopefully, it'll be your worst assignment. I just want you to show that you were working on it. Quite frankly, as long as you do all the things that I'm asking here, you'll probably just get an A. It'll be an easy A because I'm not going to be critical on it. I just want you to do it. So this will be the easiest assignment because there's nothing really to do wrong, okay? So just make sure that you do enough. I'd rather you did too much in this case than too little. Most of the time when you're doing digital imaging, you usually want to, if you're going to err, you err on the side of doing less than trying to do too much. But in this case, I'd rather you did too much, okay? So you're going to submit 3 images, unedited, a generally enhanced basic one, and then the creative one. Now, if you want to have these all inside of one Photoshop file, meaning that, when we're in Photoshop, you can have layers here. So you might have multiples of the same. So you might have your original, a creative, and then the enhanced one. Just make sure that they're labeled. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So if you want to submit one PSD, that is fine. With layers for them, that's fine. Or you could submit 3 separate images. It's up to you. However you feel comfortable doing that. Okay? All right. So you're going to do that. The other thing you need to do is this. Every assignment, listen to me now. I have proclaimed. Every assignment, you have to submit a project cover sheet. Basically, you can click on it right here. Also, when you're in here and you're on the assignment, you'll see right here, right here is the project cover sheet. You can click on it. It's a Microsoft Word document. You have to complete the project cover sheet. Basically, it's a reflection thing. It has a couple of prompts. There's 3 questions, and you have to respond to them. What were you going for? How do you feel? What are the strengths and weaknesses of your work? And what was the process you went through? I don't really like this. I'm not a big fan of doing project cover sheets. I get it, but it makes the people on high think that we're doing English. So let's do English so that it makes them happy. That's the lump sum of it. Now, that being said, I do read them, but the main thing I'm looking for, it's not grammar, it's not how verbose you are. I'm looking at thickness, right? The first thing I'm just going to pull out a ruler and I'll be like, how long is this paragraph? And I can't tell you how many times people write 1 line, and it's like, boom, D. I'll give you credit, but you're not going to get a high grade for it. I'll give you the very bare minimum. Because you did submit it, but I'm not going to give you an A. Just make sure that they're thick, okay? The responses should be multiple lines each. Just word, what do you call it? Stream of thought, okay? I don't really care beyond that, but you have to do it, all right? Hopefully that makes sense. What you will notice is you get graded on these 3 things here. So if I go back to here and we go to this, I'll click on the rubric. You'll see the rubric has 4 sections. There we go. Project cover sheet, basic requirements, enhanced image, creative image. Okay, so though every rubric will be different, it'll be specific to the thing, but every rubric has one category as project cover sheet. That means it's a 25% of the grade. It's a free 25%. Okay, but I've had a lot of students, they'll knock these out of the park. They don't hand it in, they get a 75. So I know I keep stressing it, but a bunch of you guys are just not going to turn this in. It's going to frustrate me, and then I'm going to have to write emails and do paperwork. So don't make me do it. You do the paperwork, not me. All right. So project cover sheet, basic. All right, you get the idea. Okay, and that's the same stuff that's right here. Okay, so you need to basically on this every time it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to basically submit 3 images or 3 layers inside of an image and a project cover sheet. Okay, that's what you need to do. You can also get the project cover sheet right here. You can click on it. This will be on every assignment. You'll see this little thing. Click on that. It'll download the Word doc. Okay. I did put this application. It's called Ghost It. Basically, what it allows you to do is you can take any window. It only works on PC. Sorry. Take any window and it will ghost it, meaning it will make it transparent and sit behind the screen, but you can still see it. So if for some reason you want to have like a video over here, you can put a video over there, such as me. And then work on stuff over here, and you don't have to worry about like clicking back and forth. If you don't I have multiple monitors. A lot of people don't, so I find that program kind of useful. It's whatever. Okay, so to do the assignment, I did make in every assignment I will have video tutorials on how to complete the assignment. So in this case, you'll see I have these video tutorials here. I do provide the lab materials, and that's again because if we were in class, I would do it with you. But you're not to do these for your assignment. It should be your own images. Also, I do mine here, but do your own thing. I'm not looking for you to just literally, whatever I did here, this is gross. Whatever I did here, I want you to do it to your own, okay? But I will do the assignment on here so that you can see how to do it, and then you do your own, all right? Sometimes you can kind of just follow along with the videos and just apply the same things I'm doing to yours. You might be able to do that here as well, but anyway, a neat little trick too. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but when you play a YouTube video, I always do this. I will take the playback speed and I'll do like 2 times because I find that they're too slow. The people they talk real slow. I don't feel like talk that slow, but if for some reason you want it to talk faster, use that and get through it a little bit quicker, right? You know what I'm saying? So that'll be the video tutorial. So use that in order to complete the assignment. And then these are things you should have been done. It's the same thing that's on this. I'm going to go back to week 1. That's on this week 1 checklist thing. Okay, it's like the same stuff. Back here. Basically, make sure you look through Blackboard. Read through this web page, the lecture here, which I have this video. Then submit week 1 image editing. And then I didn't put the other thing here. But the other thing you need to do besides that, so let's go back here. So we're going to do the lecture, which we just did. You're going to submit your image here. I showed you that. And then you got to do this discussion board. So if you click on the discussion board, each week has one. Okay, so there's a discussion board. Yay. I know kids love discussion board. I love them too. But, we're trying to simulate. Oh, look at people already doing it. Look at this. Go her. Okay. Basically what you're going to do is it's going to go week 1 discussion board. Well, that's disappointing because it doesn't. Okay, so click on discussions. Because it doesn't have the description when you click, it just goes right to the discussion board. What I'm going to require you can see each one of these discussion boards. Okay, what I'm going to require you for the first discussion board is instead of doing a separate one, just do an introduction of yourself. Originally I had 2 week 1 discussion boards, but that's lame. So just do an introduction of yourself, like I am blah blah blah. You can generally just answer these prompts here. So what do you go by? If you use a different pronoun or something, you can mention that as well. And sometimes I have people to be like, their name's Caroline, but I go by Spitz or something. You know what I mean? Whatever your name, I don't really care. I'll try to remember that, but I'm not good with names. I won't remember Caroline. So what do you go by? Why are you taking the course? Like, is it a required course? Are you taking it for just enrichment? Is it fulfilling some sort of requirement otherwise? Like, I get a lot of marketing students in there. Any experience you have in computer graphics, Photoshop or otherwise, any other interest, anything you think might be interesting. Okay, so just answer those questions, and then all of them are going to have a description of your assignment. So what did you make? Like, what is the photo of? What was your process? Are you happy with it? Things like that, and then also post your original, enhanced, and creative images in the post as well. So so if I go here and we'll create a thread, you go, type in like maybe your name or something, type in like your responses here, and then I think you can click on, is it this one? Yeah, you can add content, and then you can add a image right inside of this, or you can do an attachment this way. Either way, if you could on these, preferably, I personally don't care, but it'll be easier if you could use JPEGs instead, so that way people can just automatically open them instead of having to open up Photoshop, just because it takes a little bit longer. It's not super necessary, but it would probably be better. So you'll click on those and you'll hit submit. This is a real easy grade. When you go to do your discussion boards, I'm going to require two things. So let's go back to the actual discussion board, because there's one other. Where are you? All right. You also have to respond to at least 2 of your peers. Okay. So with the discussion board, just every time you're going to write about your work, you're going to post the work. And then what I want you to do is look at your peers' work and then make 2 responses, 2 replies to 2 of your peers. Or 1 reply to 2 of your peers. It'd be weird to reply twice to the same person. Unless you really got a lot to say. The idea here is, again, that we can like see each other's work and then say, oh yeah, that's great, and this could be better. Make sure it's constructive. Don't just say, oh, I liked this, because that doesn't really add anything to the conversation. I'm not super critical on it. I'm not going to be like, oh, you didn't write enough. I know people get to 100. I don't. Just write something. And then, if you want to be more verbose, that's fine as well. But I'm not going to require that. All right? So that's week 1. Every week, every Monday, you'll get a new thing like this. You're going to go through the materials. Okay? You're going to submit all your stuff. And it's all due by the end of day Sunday. So meaning that your stuff will be due on the 18th by midnight. Well, it'd be at the end of, before Monday. There you go. Let's do it that way. Before the next Monday. So basically you have 1 week to complete whatever these items are. I don't do the thing where like, oh, you got to have the discussion board done by Wednesday, because I think that's just hard, because now you got to do things multiple times a week. That's lame. So we're not doing that. Don't worry about that. But all of it will be due by the end of the week. Now, that being said, you might have already noticed that this one person is very on top of her stuff. I have all this unlocked. So if you want to just go ahead, that doesn't really bother me. So go to town. I was going to lock it and then reveal it, but if you want to just work ahead, get it, bang it out real quick, feel free. Okay. I guess that's it. So, if you have any questions, just email me, jcone@cecil.com, or at cecil.edu, not .com. All the information should be here. I try to make it straightforward, but I make mistakes. So, and if I'm missing something, like sometimes something seems like it's working on my end, but it's not. So just let me know, and I will make those changes. It was very nice to meet you. I try to make these videos as short as possible. Sorry, this one's kind of long. I'll try to make the next one shorter if I can help it. Otherwise, have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your guys' work.